Lagos.
By the virtue of its position as former capital city of Nigeria, Lagos played a host to top-ranking socialites who over the years organized themselves into groups defined along career lines, religious inclinations, areas of residence, and other such interests among others. These groups are popularly known as social clubs. Although the clubs are predominantly domiciled on the Lagos Island, there is no area or division of the state which does not boast of its own collections. Historians unanimously agreed that the cosmopolitan nature of Lagos, buoyed by its peculiar socio-political and economic development, has greatly influenced its social life, particularly the advent of growth of social clubs. How did it all begin?
Lagos started off like a city-state on the coast of the Atlantic, with the lagoon and the Atlantic on both sides. So that in itself encouraged navigation. So navigational activities brought in different people from different parts, both of the country, West Africa, and from other parts of the world into the Lagos area. So that alone will set up a social movement. So the social movement has been on before what one might say is the creation of the new Lagos as we know it today. So with that, there were cross-pollination of ideas. Christianity crept in, Islam, not in any particular order, then the traditional religion, and with this also were people of different tribes, different origin, both diversity in skin pigmentation, whether you are black or white.
It does not mean that there were no social groups, because Egbe has always been there. Egbe of this, Egbe Bobani, Egbe this, Egbe this, amongst women, amongst men. They may not have physical structures as we know today, but they existed, they had interaction, they had their own code of ethics and how they operated. In addition, there were clubs in various areas of Lagos, not because if you look at when you say Ikoyi Club, you say, of course, this was created by the colonial masters. It was first for them, and then the civil servant, the newly educated members, and in reaction, or either in reaction or in furtherance of expanding it, they started others like the Yoruba Tennis Club and so on and so forth. But then, I don't want us to go away with the impression that clubbing, forming associations started with the colonial clubs. No.
The cosmopolitan nature of Lagos tends to bring together so many cultures, people with different backgrounds, but because Lagos is a melting point, they will always come together at a point, either for celebration, for business activities that will definitely boil down to social relationship.
An account has it that in the 1920s, youth clubs spontaneously started springing up on both the island and the mainland for sporting, educational, religious, and entertainment purposes. Clubs like the Crescent Bearers, the Jomwankers, otherwise known as the Barons, however, registered their presence as social clubs in the late 1930s. The history of social clubs in Lagos will remain incomplete without acknowledging the aristocrats' inner circle of the USC Technical Limited, founded by Musiliu Anibaba in 1954. The Yoruba Tennis Club, which prides itself as the oldest indigenous club in Nigeria, has its first meeting in the early part of 1926, and the second meeting minutes of which are still available till date, was held at number 75 Tokumba Street, Lagos on Thursday, 15th of July, 1926. At that time, the club was known as Orelodun Tennis Club.
The Yoruba Tennis Club was the first one, belonging to eminent gentlemen in Lagos, the judges, Ademola, Justice Ademola, and all the rest of them like that. They played tennis, and they called it Yoruba tennis because all the Lagosians were Yorubas, so that the Igbos at one time protested against it, but they have no other way because the members were Yorubas.
But you had the Lagos Long Tennis, which was for Europeans only. The Lagos Long Tennis was founded in 1895 or 1875 or something, you know. So, but it was for Europeans only. That is the Lagos Long Tennis Club. But on the other end of the same area was the Yoruba Tennis Club, even though that was on its original site.
The club is actually a product of the social life from the colonial era, in the sense that Cricket Club is an amalgamation of two clubs. You had the European Club and you had the Golf Club, which are from those days. And in 1938, it was decided to bring the two of them together to form what we will now call a Ikoyi Club. And that's why it's known as the Ikoyi Club 1938. And what has come out of that is that it was the point where social life aggregated in those days.
On September 29, 1938, another social organization, the Ikoyi Club, was established. It emerged as a result of a blend between the European Club and the Lagos Golf Club. The club was entrusted to 3 nominated trustees, namely Sir Donald Kingdom, Henry Stewart, and David Duncan Gabe. The popular Island Club, also a leading social organization in Lagos, was founded on Friday, October 29, 1943 by 50 distinguished gentlemen, including Nigerians and non-Nigerians alike.
The Island Club started as a club where both white, black, or whatever color pigmentation you have could share conviviality under the same roof for the first time. And I think it was anywhere in West Africa. And that was the origin of the Island Club. And so they started their battle against racial discrimination. And they called it then the dignity of man, upholding the dignity of man anywhere in the world, irrespective of your race, irrespective of your religion or political affiliations. You were respected first as a human being.
Sir Adeyemo Alakija was elected the first chairman of the club. The Lagos Country Club is also one of the oldest in the state. It was founded on the 3rd of August 1949 under its first chairman, Mr. R. Simpson, a Briton. In 1991, the Business Club Ikeja, a premium business network of committed professionals, which was established in the state capital. Members of this club enjoy programs where they build productive relationships and share business experience and economic skills.
That also boils down to how we came to the establishment of Lagos State Public Service Club in 1979 under the leadership of, during the administration of Alhaji Lateef Jakonde. The then administration of Alhaji Jakonde, in their own wisdom, realized that civil servants in Lagos State cannot afford to be members of those clubs because of their earning power. They can't afford to pay for membership, let alone the annual subscription. And government felt there must be a forum for social and sporting interaction amongst public servants. hence the establishment of Lagos State Public Service Club 1979.
There are quite a lot of other such clubs everywhere across the state. In Badagry, notable social clubs include the Supreme Club and State House Club in Ajara, Badagry, while Oriwu Club, Public Service Club and Exclusive Club lead the pack in Ikorodu. The famous Epe Club, Ogumodede Club and Alaro Giants place Epe on the map of top social clubs in Lagos, while in Mushin we have Fadaka Club and Ajina Social Club. Many senior citizens who were around then will never forget the fanfare and Abalabi dance, a daytime gathering of young people who engage in various games and entertainment activities with little fees around popular spots like Swingtime Garden in Campus Square and many others. Are there specific objectives of these clubs, or were they just formed to come under different umbrellas for the mere purpose of identification?
Human beings are deemed equal and no one is superior to the other. And so that is the position of the Island Club as the premier social club of Nigeria.
All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Those days the state secretariat was at the GRA here. That led to the location of the club very close to the secretariat. After office hours in those days, members of the club, they come into the club right from their office. They don't need to go through the stress of traffic. Come in to relax. If they have issues, they sit down there, resolve it and play different kinds of games, go home, sleep, become more refreshed before going to the office the next day.
These socialites who were members of these clubs popularized different genres of music, especially during functions of individual members or the club itself. Genres like high life music, led by the legendary E.T. Mensah and his orchestra, which was imported into Lagos which was later adapted in the Nigerian traditional style by such music icons like Bobby Benson, Rex Lawson, Victor Olaiya, Tunde Nightingale, and many others, was the top delight of the elites.
I played in Samuel Akwabo's band, All Stars band. I played for Bobby Benson too.
Ordinarily, in Lagos, the music for Lagos was Sakara. Then the next rule on it was one Abibu Ulua. He treated Lagos.
There's no corner of Lagos to turn to that there's nothing, something is bubbling there. Lagos will always be Lagos. Lagos will always be Lagos. No matter all the arguments going on, all you need to do is to go to a nightclub in Lagos and just see it's not even Nigerians anymore. People from everywhere, Lebanese, Indians, Europeans, everywhere. They are letting us steam.
My father was a priest, so that I didn't have the opportunity of moving around. But from school, in the school, we have all children from all parts of Lagos meeting in the school there. We meet more or less in the school.
Other genres like Akpala music, Sakara, Agidigbo, and many other traditional variety of music also set Lagos agog in those days. All thanks to the social clubs. The unique hospitality nature of Lagos State has over the years continued to engender symbiotic relationships Among these voluntary social organizations, while the sociological impacts of these clubs on successive governments have facilitated in a great deal the socio-political and economic growth of the state till date.
They have been very helpful in terms of promoting the cultural values, in terms of keeping friendship, and even discussing political and economic issues affecting the state. Because I found that many of the past politicians in Nigeria, in Lagos there in particular, one way or the other have to relate to especially a co-club or Ikoyi club in terms of relevance.
It's a good ground to interact with their business partners. You can sometimes you come to the club, that is where you meet that next man that will give you your next contract. From that point, people will always watch you, the kind of character you have, how they can learn from their interaction with you, how trustworthy, how well they can do business with you. And that, I believe, has enhanced the continuous existence of various social clubs in Lagos. You hardly find any businessman in Lagos that does not belong to any club.
So they were able to galvanize ideas, assisting government to move in certain directions. In the years gone by, on Christmas Eve, before Lagos State came into existence, the president or prime minister will come and deliver a Christmas message or New Year message at the Island Club, and there is a broadcast of it. And in more recent times, you realize that at Christmas, the governor will come and deliver his Christmas message. Most of the time, these are supposed to be messages touching on political issues, their stewardship and what they intend to do in the coming year.
The incumbent governor of the state, Mr. Akiwumi Ambode, is an active supporter of social clubs in Lagos. Just last December, the famous Island Club confirmed him as the Grand Commander of the Order of the Peacock in recognition of his support for club culture. Apart from that, His Excellency has been a source of encouragement to many clubs across the state, not just in the past 24 months that he has been on the saddle, but right from his days as a civil servant in Lagos.
The 2016 is a defining moment for us as a state, as we face the task of making Lagos self-reliant and more prosperous.
Nearly a century after the first club was formed in Lagos, the culture of social clubs has continued to grow in popularity and acceptability as the number swells almost on a daily basis. The celebration of the state's Golden Jubilee may not be complete without highlighting activities of these clubs and recognizing their contributions to the social development of Africa's most populated city. Social clubs have always been and remained an integral part of the uniqueness and development of Lagos State.
New things are happening every day in Lagos, and you cannot isolate our social clubs from the celebration.
The best is yet to come, but Lagos State is doing tremendously well now.
Without Lagos State, there will be another country, not Nigeria.
It's a home of hospitality. As far as business is concerned, Lagos is where you need to be.
Lagos is for everybody. Only God knows how many thousands of people come into Lagos every day.
It's a destination for every young Nigerian to come and feel the entrepreneurship spirit.
A story of love, a story of appreciation, a story of success, a story of contribution, and a story of appreciation of both the young and the old.
In Lagos State, we see that the rules work, there's the rule of law, and we're progressing in the right direction. There's quality leadership being provided, infrastructure is being developed, and things are being made to work, which is where society needs to go. It's what Ikoyi Club does. It's why Ikoyi Club is going to be 80 years. And yes, Ikoyi Club is older than Lagos State. But if Lagos State turns 50, we're sure to turn 80 as well. It will turn 100. And we wish Lagos State many more years because we are a part of Lagos State.
We have all been warming up for today, which is a special day which has been set aside for social clubs in Lagos State.
Lagos at 50. Enhance the heritage, advance the future. Ìtẹ̀síwájú ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó ló jẹ wá lógún.
Lagos. Nkolu, Ebohan, Ibogo.